Hey guys, if you saw my video a couple weeks ago, then you saw some people are silly enough to pay me to drive around supercars all day. But that's not the only thing I do for work while I travel around in the RV. I also freelance for the film and TV industry, so today's just a quick little video showing you guys what that's like. I'm going to try to keep this video short today, so I'm not going to touch on anything too in-depth. If you guys have any questions, leave it in a comment below or shoot me a message and I'll be happy to answer it for you. I work in the camera department a lot for film, TV, commercials, music videos, kind of whatever they need a camera for. I also do some stunt driving, but that's few and far between these days. Mostly I just work in the camera department. It's pretty solid work. I actually shot this video like a month or two ago, but I couldn't show you guys because I had to wait for the commercial to get released before I could show any behind the scenes footage. The film and TV industry is really secretive, and we usually don't let anyone leak any footage or pictures of anything, or else you get a massive lawsuit because everything is top secret creative material. It's kind of silly, but that's a big part of it. So in the film industry, there's a military-like hierarchy. You have departments, and then within each department you have heads of the department, and it runs down like a chain. You have your chain of command and you got to report to who's above you. It gets a bit political and a bit annoying sometimes, but it's also there to kind of help us out, make sure no one is responsible for someone else's mistakes. Alright, so today I'm just going to talk you guys through the camera team and what that even means. And yes, it does take a team of people to run a single camera. So here's a quick rundown of what a camera team looks like. So, at the top, you have the DP, who works with the director to kind of establish the look of everything, determine how the camera's going to move through space, and where the lights are going to go, what everything's going to look like, basically. Under the DP, you have the camera operator. Some DPs like to operate the camera. On this commercial, our director is the DP, and he often operates the A camera just because he knows what he wants. Next to the operator, you have the digital imaging technician, or DIT. The DIT is probably as technical as you can get in the camera department. You have to make sure all the camera settings are all matched up. If you have multiple cameras, you got to make sure they all look the same and are getting all of the information that the DP wants to see. You got to make sure nothing goes wrong with any of the cameras, and you're kind of responsible for a lot. So next to the DIT, you have a set photographer. They take all the pictures on set, so if we shoot one location one day and we need to come back and reshoot it, they have a bunch of pictures in their catalog and you can kind of go in and check continuity, which just means they're making sure everything's in the right places so things don't look off. They also do all of like the cover art, so if you see a DVD cover, movie posters, the set photographer shoots all those while we're on set. And then underneath those guys is the first AC, which is what I usually do. I work directly under the camera operator. The DIT and set photographer are kind of like almost separate departments within the camera department. It's kind of weird how the whole hierarchy of everything works. But basically, the left side of this infographic thing is like the camera team. Everything else is kind of like piggybacks on camera team, if that makes any sense at all. So first AC, that's what I do. I'll run you through this a little bit more in depth. So the first AC, start of the day, builds the cameras. On this commercial we had like 6 or 7 cameras. So I would show up, I build all the cameras, make sure they're ready to go for the day, talk with the DP, find out what lens he wants on there, if he wants to shoot high speed, basically whatever settings he wants in the camera. I set those up, I get the camera all ready for him, and then I bring it over. We either plop it on a dolly, a camera was mostly on a dolly, or if we ever went handheld with it, that's when our camera operator would come in and he would kind of operate that camera around, just point it where it needed to go, make sure everything looks smooth and good. But probably the most important part of my job is pulling focus, which doesn't sound a lot, but a big part of film and TV is showing your eyes where to go, and the DPs choose to do that with focus. So they'll have a really shallow depth of field, what basically means you can see one thing and everything behind it or in front of it is all blurry. So you can really only see that one thing, your eyes go straight to it. And if you've ever seen a bad focus pull, which I'm sure you have, where the thing you want to look at, like the person who's talking, their eyes are soft, it makes you feel a little nauseous and takes you really out of the whole movie. It makes you realize you're watching a movie or looks amateur. So a lot falls on the shoulders of the first AC, trying to make sure everything's in focus, because if I blow it, then we blew the whole shot and we got to do it again. So the way I do that, I have this, on this commercial, I have a couple cool little follow focuses. So this one here can control the whole camera. I turn this little knob and that turns a little motor on the lens. So if the thing we want to look at is 6 feet away, I set the little focus ring to 6 feet and they're in focus. So it's a really big game of knowing your distances and being able to see if someone's 15 feet away walking closer to the lens, and you pull it to however close they get. There's a lot more to being a first AC, but that's just the quick version. Underneath the first AC, you have the second AC, or second assistant cameraman. They basically help me with everything I need help with. They keep the lenses clean. They slap that little slate that I'm sure you guys are used to seeing. That just helps the editors figure out which scene and which take were good and how to use them when they're editing. Second AC takes notes of everything we did, so if we ever have to go back to shoot a scene that we did before, if we have to reshoot something for whatever reason, they have all the notes so we can shoot it the exact same way. They know height and distance and every lens we used, every color temperature. Basically everything I change in the camera, they take note of so we can go back and do it again. Underneath the second AC, you have a loader. That comes from the film days when they would actually physically load the film into magazines so you could shoot that in the camera. But nowadays they take the cards, download them on a laptop or computer, whatever, put it on hard drives so you have all the footage. And they also help out with miscellaneous stuff. If we're moving, they help us, pack up the truck, help us move carts around. Whenever they're not, moving footage from card to computer, they're helping us move a bunch of other stuff around. And on this commercial, our loader was also my second AC. He would help out whenever he could. So he would do everything from help me swap lenses, grab batteries, and then he would load all the digital media into computers and stuff. And then back on bigger shows, you would have what's called a utility. That's someone just charges batteries, keeps track of monitors, helps everyone out, just kind of is a third or fourth assistant to the other assistants. Underneath the loader, sometimes on bigger shows, you'll get a PA or a production assistant dedicated to the camera team, and they'll do everything from going on runs to pick you guys up special stuff. They'll make you coffee, they'll grab you snacks, that kind of thing. Kind of the other people call them gophers. They just go for and get you stuff. We also have specialty technicians that kind of piggyback off the camera department, sort of like the DIT does. The DIT is a little bit more a part of the camera department since we all work together. But we also have, when we have big jibs, we have a jib operator, sometimes multiple of them. We have assistants to the jib technicians. If there's those crazy cool remote heads on the jib, we'll have a remote head technician and often an assistant for that. So you can have 4 to 10 people just operating one little jib. We also have Steadicam operators, which are usually a big part of the camera team. Sometimes they only come in and work for a couple days. Sometimes they will be the camera operator when they're not operating a Steadicam. So that's a way movies like to save money. They'll have their Steadicam operator stay on for the whole movie, and they'll just pay them a little bit more to operate a Steadicam those days that they need them to. We didn't have a Steadicam. Instead, they used a little Ronin, which is just a little brushless gimbal camera stabilizer. So if you shake the camera, if you shake the handles, and if you have like unsteady hands, the camera won't know, and everything it sees is nice and stabilized. We used it similarly to a Steadicam, which drives me crazy, off the back of a golf cart to shoot moving bikes, which is really cool. Our camera operator also operated our drone and that stabilizer. So most people trying to get into the camera department will start as a PA. and then work their way up through the utility and loader, second, first, whatever, till they get to the position they want to be in. Or they will start as an assistant to a technician. So you have head technicians and jib operators. They have their assistants, and they will get on-job, on-site training until they're good at it, and then eventually they will take over for the technician. All right, now for the money talk. It's not really straightforward. It's a freelance industry, so nothing's guaranteed. You only work when you get hired. It's kind of stressful. There's no job security at all. We have unions, but that just kind of gets you hired. It just helps you get hired on union shows where the budgets are bigger, so you're likely to get more money. But 9 times out of 10, you have to negotiate the rate you're going to work for. If you have any specialty gear, you can rent that to production for additional fees. But speaking in generalities, starting off as a PA, which is how most people start off, you'll make about $125 to $175 a day as your base rate. And our days are measured in 12 hours. So we do a base of 12-hour days. As you move up, the day rates go up by the hundreds. So a first AC is typically $500 or $550 a day, and then we work really long hours, kind of making the best of sunlight and creativity. Everything takes really long, so it's not uncommon to work 14, 16, 18, 20-hour days, and at that point you're in double or triple overtime and making a lot of money at $45 to $60 an hour. Technicians make probably the most, aside from the DP. Again, it's all negotiable, but typically on a big union shoot, technicians make about $100 an hour, though they only work for a few days out of the movie, where everyone else, the rest of the camera team, has to stay for however long the movie is. And that's a big part of it too. Some commercials like this are only a week long. Some big movies last 5 or 6 months, and there's everything in between. So it's very unstable, but it can be lucrative if you know how to network really well. The freelance nature of it all works really well for me since I travel around in the RV. Anywhere that's shooting a commercial or TV show, anywhere I go, it can be a good source of income, but it does take a couple of years to build up a reputation and a network of people that will hire you, and that's pretty stressful. So that's why I also work with Extreme, doing supercar drives, and I basically work as many and any jobs that I can, because there's no guarantee anywhere. Sorry that ran a little bit long, but hopefully you guys have a better understanding of how a camera team works. If you have any questions about film, TV, cameras, any of that, like I said earlier, leave a comment, shoot me a message, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. If you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I put out a couple a week. And if you have any friends that might find this interesting or want to change careers to something a little bit more freelance, share the video with them. And I'll see you guys next week.